Hello again, everyone. It's really great to have you all here. And again, as Emmy and Jillian mentioned, from so many different places, it's great to have you. I'd like to welcome you today to this information session to learn more about the Tropical Forest Landscape Online Certificate Program. So this 10-month certificate program offers a unique opportunity for environmental professionals from all around the world to connect with the Yale School of the Environment, to develop concrete skills, advance their careers, and explore science and solutions related to tropical land management from many different perspectives. I'm Abby York. I'm the online program administrator for the Environmental Leadership and Training Initiative, or ELTI, which is a program of Yale University School of the Environment. And today I'm joined by my colleagues Jillian Bloomfield and Emmy Nicholson, who will also be facilitating the session and serve as mentors and coordinators throughout the program. I just wanted to share a few notes before we get started. So first of all, we are recording this session, so if you do need to step out early, we will have this up and posted on our YouTube channel to review at a later date. As Emmy mentioned too, we have launched a poll to learn more about each of you and see at what point you're at in considering applying to this program. And we'll share that right before we conclude today's session. And finally, we are going to end today's session with a Q&A. So we do hope to address a lot of your questions during our presentation, but we encourage you to submit any questions using the Q&A feature at the bottom of your webinar screen. Now, just to formally introduce ourselves a little bit more, again, I'm Abby York, the online program administrator for LT, and my primary role here is related to the certificate program within admissions, marketing, and tuition management. Jillian, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Jillian Bloomfield, and I am Associate Director of Online Programs. I'm here to support the team that is working really hard to make this program possible. And I also enjoy getting to know you all as participants and connecting you with different instructors and experts at Yale and around the world.
Great, thanks, Jillian. And now, Emmy, if you'd like to introduce yourself and begin our presentation, that would be great.
Sure thing. So, hi everyone. My name is Emmy Nicholson. I am the online training associate here at ELTI, and I do a lot of work on this Tropical Forest Landscapes program, and I'm excited to tell you guys more about it. All right, so just to kick us off, we're going to start with a program interview, and I'll walk you also through a participant experience. I'll then pass it off to Jillian to talk a little bit more about the benefits of the program, and also then to Abby to talk more about the cost and admissions as well as some additional opportunities. And as Abby mentioned, we're going to end this session today with a Q&A. So let's kick off with the program interview. So the Tropical Forest Landscapes Conservation and Restoration and Sustainable Use Program is a 10-month program. During each of these programs, there are 4 core courses walking you through fundamentals, people, strategies, and fundings. So different topics regarding ecological and social concepts, human dimensions and engagement, land use planning and implementation, as well as the financial concepts and tools that you may need to know in order to design a conservation or restoration project of your choice. And this culminates throughout the program in your capstone project, also known as your project course. There is also an optional field course after the program, or perhaps even sometime during the program, where you get to see everything you've learned during this program in practice in one of our field courses or landscapes associated with partners with ELTI. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later in this presentation. So let's talk a little bit about who this program is for. As you can see here in this graphic, we've had a variety of different sectors engage in our program, from 489 participants from over 328 organizations. Whether you're coming from nonprofit, private industry, academia, government, or something else, there is something for everyone. Oops, wrong way. Okay, so we've had various professionals from governments, other private industries, and NGO that are specifically working on project design or landscape management. Other people have been staff members from organizations, foundations, businesses, aid agencies that are seeking to learn more about funding and promote effective programs. Or if you're in academia, perhaps you're looking to supplement the knowledge that you are currently gaining in your program, but kind of are looking for something to add to it. Other people may be practitioners in the landscape, so landowners, farmers, ranchers, or community organizers that want to enhance their management skills within their communities. But really, this is for anyone who is interested in learning to design, implement, and monitor conservation and restoration initiatives. Along these lines, we really have this diverse group of over 475 program participants from over 75 countries since this program started in 2019. Maybe you saw that a little bit through the webinar chat where everyone was kind of calling in and writing in where they are calling from today. But you can also see that on this map. We're showing a geographic distribution of participants from our past cohorts between 2019 to 2025. So whether you're coming from North America, South America, the Caribbean, Asia, Africa, Oceania, Australia, Europe, we've really had this wide spread of experiences shared with the program. Just a couple of quotes from past participants about why they have enrolled in this program. Whether they're looking to hone their skills, expand their network, gain new tools, start a new career, or really design and implement an actual real world project. There's different opportunities to advance your career and achieve these results for your conservation or livelihoods initiatives from any location in the world. And that's really a huge benefit of this online format that Jillian's going to talk a little bit more about later in the presentation. So moving into the participant experience, who are you going to learn from? We have a wide variety of faculty from the Yale School of the Environment, or YSC, and other expert affiliates who have joined this program to learn more or to help you learn more about the conservation and restoration initiatives you are looking to build upon. And this is just a sampling of some of our module and lead instructors or people who've contributed videos to the program over the past couple years. In addition, we also have over 80 international expert contributors who have offered videos, contents, readings, and other opportunities to learn and engage from and with the organizations and projects that they are working on. And here's just an example here where we're having live sessions with one-on-one conversations with these experts, as well as a variety of videos, just a small sampling here shown at the bottom. But who will you learn from in addition to your peers? So within a cohort, we have approximately 70 to 90 participants of folks just like you who are joining the program. This is a really diverse group of professionals and practitioners from around the world who are dealing with real world issues or real world problems or real world questions throughout their work and really taking the opportunity to learn from each other. So it's not just the experts, but you're also seeing this work on the ground and learning from it as well. In addition, you have folks like us, me, Jillian, and Abby, as your program mentors and other Yale student fellows who are coming to join us and talking about some of these things regarding conservation and restoration. And we're here as resources for you throughout the program experience. Within a given week, you'll review a variety of aspects and different content. So whether these are videos and lectures, interviews, readings, interactive presentations, case studies, there's a variety of different options for you to learn about these motivations or things that are happening in real time. So here's just an example from the People course where we learned about the state and other powerful actors, thinking about the learning objectives that may be applicable to the theme for that week or that module, and also thinking about the variety of different things that you may explore throughout this content. In addition, as I mentioned, these opportunities for interaction and feedback in these live sessions. Here's an example of one where you're going to be speaking with and meeting with your participants or fellow peers in this once a week opportunity each week throughout the program. In addition, there's other opportunities for feedback through discussion boards, peer-to-peer exchange, and other expert review. So you're really going to have, although being in an online program, this one-on-one or something that feels like a personal feedback opportunity, even though this is an online program. And then as we go through this content, as you go through this feedback process, you're going to be applying it through a variety of different self-reflections, the discussion boards as well, guided exercises, and personal aspects within your capstone project. And here's just two examples from people who have built their capstone project and presented it at the end of the program in both written format as well as in a presentation to their peers at the end of the program. So the optional field course. Here are a variety of different experiences that we've shown you where you get to see what you've learned in the program applied on the ground. So here on the left, you can see how some certificate program participants received a tour of a tree nursery in Brazil. Here in the center, in the Philippines, participants met with representatives of local government units before a site visit. And then here also on the right, we have certificate program participants learning, by doing and getting this real world experience preparing for tree planting in Panama. So with that, I'm actually going to pass it off to talk a little bit about the features and benefits. So Jillian, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. And Emmy, I'm going to share my screen.
Okie dokie. Stopping my share.
Thank you. Okay. You see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you so much. So thanks, Emmy, for explaining and Abby for explaining about the program so far. I'll talk a little bit about some more of the features and benefits. So overall, we've had a whole over 400 participants in the past few years. And of the graduates of a survey of 298 past participants, 97% have said that they're extremely or very satisfied with the program experience, and 94% say that the program met their goals for enrolling either extremely or very well. And some of the things that they've shared back with us has been the importance that the program provided and access to a global network of both the current and past participants. So even though we're based in all of the different countries, and it's neat to see all the different countries even in this room right now, um, even though everyone's spread apart, the online environment is very interactive and allows you to build this friendly network of people from all over the world, as our past participant Emily LaRusick explained in this quote below. Also, an important point of feedback and benefit of the program has been the holistic perspective and the practical skills provided. A lot of our participants come from specific areas related to tropical forest landscape management, but some come with more natural science background, some come with more social science background, some don't come with that background, they're coming from other sectors. And all of that is okay because the program is piecing together a whole variety of different disciplinary perspectives and different speakers, different opportunities for everyone to reflect and engage and discuss the course themes. And so it's very important that you can bring in your own background, but also the program exposes you to a wide variety of different perspectives from the different types of disciplines or aspects that you need to consider for tropical forest management. Also, as Emmy mentioned, with the assignments, there are applied assignments that help you directly build your skills. And we'll see some of that in the feedback, but you can also see that in this quote below, this balanced approach to understanding people and the landscape offers a holistic view for designing conservation and restoration projects. Also, an important benefit of the program is the support that you get along the way. So I mentioned that even though we're all apart over the world, the program's very interactive, and that includes engagement with the fellow participants and the professors and other instructors. But it also includes a mentorship team where people like Emmy, myself, Abby, other students and fellows we have, we're all here invested in your learning success. We provide mentorship, access to faculty members willing to engage with you all. We help with the facilitation, providing guidance for completion of assignments or different experts to engage with based on your unique areas of interest. And the program also has flexibility because we know that you are busy with your personal and professional commitments. And so we're here to interact with you to figure out if we need to make any custom arrangements based on different things happening in your lives. And so that's where Leonardus from Indonesia mentioned that the mentors, the program support team, is here to support each participant, making sure the assignments your understanding of the concepts are on target. And then the instructors review and provide valuable feedback on those assignments. Another benefit is the skills that you build through the applied capstone projects. So this teaches principles of project planning, logical assessment, and project design tools. We have everyone come with a real life project of choice, or you can have a hypothetical initiative that you come to the program with. And every step of the way, you're thinking about the concepts, but you're rooting the potential application of those concepts into a specific area or a specific landscape. And that is so important for our place-based approach for capacity building that is throughout all of our program activities, but is especially emphasized through the capstone project. And then you finish the program with a project situation model, a detailed project proposal, and a tailored presentation for a target audience. And these are things that you can use to implement that actual capstone project, or it can be skills that you're developing for future use in other projects. And as Federico mentions in this quote, he mentions that the capstone project was transformative, that the exercises and guidance from ELTI's experts brought depth and direction to his ideas, and the mix of theoretical input and practical mentorship gave him the tools to build a model ready for real-world application. Some of you all ask questions occasionally about how involved do I need to be with my capstone project. So a big portion of participants are directly involved in the capstone project professionally or personally. So that's about the combination is about half of the participants. So that professionally can be that this is something an area you work with for your work. And that's wonderful. We definitely encourage people to use the Capstone Project to advance their own initiatives that they plan to implement as part of their work. Also, we've had people who have family connections or personal connections to certain lands, and they've used that for their capstone projects. And then we have about half of the participants who are coming in from a different angle, that they partner with an outside organization, that they have an interest in an area and are developing something more hypothetically, or they use one of our provided hypothetical capstone projects. So what happens after the program? So a variety of things. Past participants have shared with us that they've put learning into action in different ways by planning initiatives at the landscape level, implementing new practices, developing monitoring frameworks, creating new funding proposals. That point about thinking holistically and critically about conservation in a way that was different than before they had started the program. Developing participatory approaches to stakeholder engagement, recognizing bias in critical issues of social justice, and many other factors and ways that people have put what they learned into action. Overall, 93% of program graduates who were surveyed reported that they already made changes to land management and practices and approaches by the time they finished the program. And you can see in this example from Rudolph, he explains that the knowledge and skills he acquired from the certificate program, uh, he says, make me confident and well equipped to undertake my role as a restoration practitioner. I received amazing mentorship, established incredible new networks, and deepened my understanding of topics highly relevant to my work to manage the restoration of 10,000 hectares of degraded landscapes in Tana Delta, Kenya. Some other examples have to do with participants relating what they've done to then implementation and taking action for conservation after the program. This is an example from Abby Schneider, who participated in the program finishing up in 2023. And she mentioned that TFL really stood out to her to ground an idea that she had beforehand into reality. She had been working in Togo since 2009, and the certificate program curriculum and the capstone project served as a way to bring her idea to life and to have the mentorship and guidance from the instructors and her peer group. And she's since begun to put that project into practice to co-create an ethnobotanical agroforestry system with communities in Togo. And it's been really neat to see her implement what she's learned in the program, so much so that she recently recorded a lecture, Reforesting a Multi-Use Landscape by Centering Its Cultural Context. And that now is being integrated into the curriculum of the delivery of the certificate program. Also, participants have benefited and shared the career advancement they've had in professional development after the program. So we have an interview recently with Godwin Cujo, also a graduate from 2023, and he mentioned that after the program, he started a new role with Rainforest Alliance and is now serving as their lead for thriving landscapes in the Sui River landscape in Ghana. And that area spans over 200,000 hectares. So the way he describes in a recent lecture that he's also given for the certificate program, as well as different materials that you'll see if you've been following us on social media, you'll see his interview where he explains that his work now is basically the certificate program in practice. Finally, after the program, there's different opportunities for continuing learning and engagement. So we help coordinate online events and tools that participants can use. So webinars, different speed networking events, a virtual reunion. We have a community networking platform, which you can see a picture here where you can see a map of our current and past participants all over the world, and it shows ways to reach out to them, different types of social media, and then sharing stories of past participants. And then finally, we plan different in-person events like a reception at a conference we're having with the International Society for Tropical Foresters. That's happening this year in February, where we welcome past participants to Yale to engage in person with the instruction team and the different guests of the conference, and then different other events organized by our committee of past participants. So now I'll hand it back to Abby for costs and admissions.
Great. Thanks, Jillian. Before I get into that section, I did just want to remind folks, and then, of course, anyone who joined recently to fill out the poll from the beginning of the webinar. I'll go through the costs and admissions and some other kind of logistic things about the application cycle before we get into our Q&A session. So also a reminder to add in any questions. We've been receiving a lot of great questions so far, so we're excited to get into that with you all soon. But yeah, with that, I can get into the costs and admissions for the program. So tuition for the program is 7,500 US dollars, and it includes, as Emmy talked about a little bit earlier, 4 8-week online courses and the 10-month capstone project. So throughout the program, it's unlimited access to all your online course materials, support from mentors throughout the program, face-to-face online interaction with experts, and then personalized expert advice on your coursework. Emmy had also talked about the on optional field component. So the tuition for this is $2,500. This was for the 2025 field course, which may change for future deliveries. But this tuition includes a 1 week immersion experience in the tropics, as well as the in-country ground transportation, any food, lodging, the course materials, instructors, and site visits for the duration of the course. So for both components of the program, there is tuition support available. So to get into this first, we do have our partial tuition discounts. So these are available on a competitive basis for eligible applicants. These range from 25 to 75% off of the tuition fee. In order to be considered for these partial tuition discounts, you would need to complete the tuition support section in the main application, which includes two short essay responses, um, yeah, two short essay responses there. And then any admission decisions are independent of the requests for tuition support. Next, we do have the Three Cairns Fellowship as well. So this is something we are able to offer with support of the Three Cairns program at the Yale School of the Environment. This is geared towards individuals working on climate solutions in the global south. In order to be eligible for this fellowship, you have to hold primary citizenship from a country in the global south, have professional or academic experience relevant to climate solutions, and be actively working on climate solution implementation. Similar to our partial discounts, you need to complete the tuition support section within the main application, which again includes the short essay response in order to be considered for this fellowship. And any admission decisions are made independent of your fellowship requests. So those are the two tuition supports that our program is able to offer. We do encourage any interested applicants to seek out external funding as well. So we've had some past participants, including Isaac and Justina here, who have received support from their employers, whether through professional development funds or other grants, as well as seeking out other award types, such as the Siegel AmeriCorps Education Award or the WWF Education for Nature Award. So we do encourage folks to look into these opportunities early on so that they can secure the funding by the time the program starts. Now, just to highlight some important dates coming up for you all, as many of you know, our applications opened on January 5th, and they will remain open until March 25th, 2026. We have a few weeks to review the applications, and you'll receive your decision by April 13th. Then the deadline to enroll and pay your deposit to secure your place in the course is May 27th, and your first tuition payment will be due on June 1st. The program starts with a 2 week orientation on July 22nd, or I'm sorry, on July 20th, 2026. So just a few tips on how to apply. So first, I encourage you to visit our website. So that is at environment.yale.edu/certificates/tropical/admissions. I will share that in the chat for you all. But we encourage you all to review the application requirements first before you start your application. And again, noting that the deadline of March 25th will come up pretty quickly, so we encourage you to get a jump on your applications. First, starting by reviewing the program dates, curriculum, and program details, the application requirements, and then the technical requirements of participating in the program. As a quick overview of the application requirements, you do need to submit the online application form. This will include your resume, a personal statement and two short response statements, a scanned or electronic transcript, and one professional reference. In addition to these required materials, you're also welcome to include any documentation of additional coursework or official TOEFL or IELTS test score reports if you think that would support your application. And then lastly, a few tips here. As I mentioned earlier, we encourage you all to review the requirements and start gathering your materials early on so you can meet the application deadline. We also recommend that you contact your professional reference ahead of time. When it comes to the essays, both the short response for the application as well as any tuition support, we recommend that you pay really close attention to the essay requirements. And lastly, reach out to our team at tropicalcertificate@yale.edu if you have any questions or technical issues as you're either considering the program or working on your application. Before we get into the Q&A, I wanted to highlight a couple additional learning opportunities coming up soon. So, um, we do have some learning sessions. So we'll have coffee chats really now through March 20th, which are these informal sessions with a program mentor or two program mentors. And you'll have the opportunity to chat one-on-one and meet some of your peers as well, or potential peers in the program. And ask your questions directly. It is much more informal than the information session and a great opportunity to connect and ask your own questions. In addition to that, we do have two additional information sessions coming up, and these will both highlight the participant experience. So on February 11th, the information session is for participant perspectives and projects. So for those of you who have been asking questions about the capstone course, this is a really great opportunity to learn more directly from the participants who have completed it. And in addition, we have on March 11th the participant collaborations and networking. So going back to what Jillian was talking about with some of the benefits of the program, it's a really great opportunity to learn how folks have benefited from the program, how they've stayed connected with some of their peers in the program, and continued to work together. I did want to highlight our first coffee chat of the session or of the application cycle is this Friday at 9 o'clock a.m. So you can scan the QR code here, and we can also share in the chat the link to register for that. Um, and then lastly, I mean, on the next slide, um, we encourage you to sign up for our mailing list. So again, I will share that link in the chat. And you can also speak one-on-one with a program mentor. So here we have myself, Jillian, Emmy, and then our colleague Liz. And to schedule a meeting with any of us, you can write to tropicalcertificate@yale.edu to schedule a one-on-one call. So now we can get into the Q&A, but before that, as promised, I'd like to share our poll results. Emmy, you can pause screen share for now so we can chat with everyone. Um, Here are the poll results here. Everyone should be able to see that now. So we actually have a really wide spread of folks of where they're at and thinking about the program. We always love to see people who are just learning about the program, but it's really great to see we have a few folks who have actually submitted their application already. So as we've mentioned, this is a really great opportunity to learn more about the program, and we encourage all of you, regardless of what stage you're at, to continue coming back to our information sessions and learning more and hearing from our past participants. So thank you all for filling out the poll. I'd like to get into some of the questions we received. We do have quite a few, so I'm not sure we'll have time to get to everything this afternoon, but we can start digging into it. So, um, sorry, one second. So I had mentioned quite a few capstone questions were received. So Jillian, if you want to talk a little bit more about kind of what the capstone course entails and how participants work throughout the 10-month program to kind of develop their projects, and really anything else you'd like to share with our audience today about the capstone course, that'd be great.
Sure, thank you so much, Abby. So there's a few different questions that relate to the capstone course. The first one says, could the capstone project course be a useful start to developing a PhD proposal? So I will preface it as the research you do for the program or the background information that you do that you find in the work you do on the capstone is very, very different from the type of basic science research or even applied research that participants do for PhD degrees. However, like this person asked, what you're going to be able to do is get to know the area of your capstone project very well. It's helpful if you already know about it, though it's not a requirement. But then you'll be doing research as it relates to that specific area. You'll be thinking about the 10-month of course curriculum and how it relates to that area. You'll be, excuse me, doing different applied exercises to understand the social and ecological context, the drivers for land use change, the history, developing a timeline, an assessment of the ecology, and so on. So I would say that the background you do for that would be very helpful for many different uses, and one of which could be to really improve your knowledge of that area before doing PhD research, as was mentioned. And we have had participants who have done this program either simultaneously or before they've done further graduate study. So that's one of the capstone questions. Let me see if there's another one that is worth getting into first, or we can shift to another question. Oh, during the 10-month question, we'll have only one course at a time for eight weeks. Okay, so just a little bit about the structure of the capstone and how it overlaps with the other courses. So you have four 8-week courses that are happening back to back throughout the program, and simultaneously is the capstone course. And so, for example, participants have in the 8-week courses, you have the content divided into 1 week modules of content. So, say this week is on species conservation, while at the same time they're in the middle of a longer, like 4 to 8 week period for the capstone course, where they're talking about the different strategies and monitoring approaches that they're going to be doing for the project. So it's simultaneous, although they feed off of one another. We combine the work on stakeholder engagement for the capstone at a similar period of time as some of these themes are coming up in the people course, for example. Or same with you have to develop a funding plan and a budget for your capstone at the same time as we're having the funding course. And let me see, the same participant also mentioned a question here about how does the content and volume compare to a typical master's program? So as I'm mentioning, like that it's kind of two courses simultaneously running. Um, these courses are not for university credit, so they're structured very differently than a master's program or degree at the Yale School of the Environment. However, we've talked to participants, and if you think about kind of the number of hours, I would think of it as about a quarter of the volume or content as you might get for a master's program. But again, master's programs vary a lot, so it really depends um, on how that is spread out.
If I could add one thing to that, Jillian,
Yeah,
and
go
this
ahead.
addresses another question. Thinking about the workload is that this full program, all 10 months, is designed for folks who are working or doing something else full time. So this is truly a part-time program, whereas a master's program might be something that is full time in itself. And if you want to think about that is as a way of thinking about the balance of workload, this program is meant to be something that you do in a couple hours of your week.
Great. Thank you, Emmy. We've had a couple questions that I can address regarding some tuition support. Um, So starting off here, someone was asking about which types of tuition support they are eligible for and if they would be considered for more than one. The short answer to that is you can apply to as many different types of support as you would like. All in all, I believe there are three essay responses, so two for the partial tuition support opportunities, and then one for the three Cairns Fellowship. So if you are interested and eligible for all three types, we encourage you to submit those essay responses, but ultimately you will only receive one award. So a review committee will review everyone's essay responses and then ultimately assign each person one award type. Um, so that is generally how that goes. And there are different essay prompts for each one. Again, I will share on our website. You can read a little bit more detail about the eligibility for each award type. and some more details there. Additionally, somebody was asking for to share the information regarding some external funding, so I can share some resources as well as we have a draft template for reaching out to your employer for support. So I'm happy to share that in the chat as well. Jillian, was there anything you wanted to share specifically related to any tuition support decisions, anything like that?
I see one of the guests is asking for participants from the Global South working in resource-constrained settings, how does the program evaluate potential for on-the-ground impact when making tuition support decisions? And I would say the review committee that reviews the discount request highly values the potential on-the-ground impact when you evaluating the decisions. So when you fill out the essays, please speak to that because that is one of the primary ways in which they try to evaluate the distribution of that support. So we encourage you all to be very specific in the essays. A lot of the difference that can happen, but especially nowadays with technology, is like a lot of the essays can start to seem very formulaic or similar, and we don't want that. We want you to be very specific to say, this is the work I am doing, this is the work I will be doing, this is how my participation in the program will help me achieve these goals and lead to these types of potential impacts on the ground. Especially in the world of AI and other things, the more personal and specific you can be in your essays, the better.
Great. Thank you, Jillian. I have one other quick kind of more administrative question to answer. Somebody was asking about their IELTS scores, um, and sharing that, or just asking whether or not they would need to take a new one if the results are no longer valid. Um, this is an optional component of the application, so this is not required materials. Our review committee does not need to review this. So I think I mentioned during the presentation, but if you think it will help support your application, you're more than welcome to, but it does not need to be the most current results necessarily, and you also do not need to submit it even if you have it. That is ultimately up to you on whether or not you would like to add that to your application. Um, and then really quickly as well, someone was asking about really where to access the application. So I will put that link in the chat now. We use Yale Online's application system called Glass. So you'll need to create an account in there, and then you can view all of Yale's online offerings, including the Tropical Forest Landscape online certificate program. If you visit our page here after you've created your account, you'll be able to see a button that says apply since applications are currently open. And anytime you want to return to that application, you visit in the main menu, the My Applications tab, and you can pick that up before you submit it. And again, along the lines of that, if anyone has any questions about navigating Glass or starting or revisiting their application, we encourage you just to send our team an email, and we're really more than happy to walk you through that process. All right. We had a question about our field courses. Emmy, I'd like to turn that over to you actually. Emmy just attended our most recent field course in Bahia, Brazil. And so if you want to talk a little bit kind of about the experience there and how attending the field course might kind of enhance what you're learning in the day-to-day throughout the 10 months. Yeah, if you want to share a little bit about your experience, that would be great.
Yeah, great. This was actually my second time going there for the field course and helping to shepherd folks along from past participants to current participants. And it was really a wonderful experience. I would say that it really is a very fascinating reflection of a couple things within the online certificate, whether it is seeing what you are learning from theory to actually being applied and in practice in the landscape. But another thing it really showcases is how much the strategies, the contexts, the people, the everything really varies based on your geography. And that's something that I think is really reflected in the online program is that we understand the participants are coming from all around the world and are coming from a variety of different contexts, whether it is the laws being different, the landscapes being different, the ecosystems being different, the species being different. There's so many different things. And so we really try and offer different content, lectures, materials, and experiences that highlight a variety of options and a variety of realities that you can use and apply to your context. So I think that seeing that in Bahia, you see a lot of what's shown and saying, oh, well, that strategy might work and that funding mechanism might work. But other things I learned about, maybe not in this specific case. So you kind of learn again, by doing and seeing in the field how people are applying these things in real time and how they're adapting with changing landscapes and changing geopolitics. So I think it was a really valuable experience. And one thing I would highlight is that while it is optional, something you mentioned, Abby, is that scholarships are also available for the field course. We have a couple different partners in landscapes that we've currently for the field course. This upcoming one, I believe, will be Rwanda. Thinking also about Indonesia, Panama, and Brazil. In the past, we have had partnerships in Colombia, I believe, and the Philippines. Um, and it's very interesting to see how each of these places have really showcased the variety that we also try and reflect online. I think hopefully I didn't just ramble, and I hope I answered that question.
Great, thanks, Emmy. I did also respond in the Q&A with some of the answered questions. I did share the link to our website. If you visit under the curriculum page, you can learn a little bit more about this optional field component and see some examples from our past the past landscapes that we've visited. Thank you, Emmy, for sharing your experience. Jillian, you've attended actually quite a few more. I'm curious if you wanted to build on that or add anything else about the field course opportunity.
The main thing, so this year, the group that's participating right now is their field course is going to be in Rwanda. There was a question in the chat I see about our work in Rwanda, and for a little bit under a year, we've had a brand new Rwanda field program at LT. Or we manage the online activities, but LT has much broader activities in different parts of the world, and so. I encourage that guest today to reach out for more information about that. And we're excited to be bringing participants to our Rwanda training landscape. The ones that are currently in the program right now. And then we're still working out the specific locations for those of you who would be applying right now. So those to do the course in 2026, 27. And so that will likely be at one of the areas that Emmy mentioned, Panama, or one of our other sites. We're also exploring some options in Kenya or Rwanda or in Asia as well. So more information on that coming soon.
Great, thank you. Um, One additional question I wanted to address. Somebody was asking if the admission decision came as well with a tuition support decision. So the details that we shared earlier about when you would receive your scholarship or your admission decision is everything you would need to know. If you meet the March 25th, 2026 deadline, you would receive a couple weeks later both your admission and tuition support decision so that you are able to confirm your enrollment, knowing how much tuition you would need to pay, and any other details like that. Um, yeah, so that about answers that. I think with that, unless there was anything else, Jillian or Emmy, you wanted to share any final thoughts, otherwise we can close and share some additional reminders.
There
Just
were
have
some. Oh, go ahead, Emmy.
Thanks. There's just one quick question I can address really right now.
Sure.
There was a question about, are the online sessions live or will there be an option to take them asynchronously? So probably a detail that I missed during the presentation, but yes, the online sessions, the live sessions specifically, that approximately 1 hour per week for that live discussion is live. However, we do record every live session and post them on our learning platform within about 24 to 48 hours after that session. So you are able to view them asynchronously afterwards. And this is particularly helpful if you have a busy work schedule, if you're doing field work perhaps, or if you're also located in a time zone that is not quite compatible with the Eastern United States. So short answer is yes, they are live, and yes, there's an option to do it asynchronously as well.
Thanks, Emmy. And Jillian?
Yeah, there were some questions about acceptance rates and scholarship rates. I would say that the acceptance rate is fairly high for a program like this. It's over 75%. However, the amount of participants that get the scholarship, we have a high amount of some tuition support. So over 80% of our participants have some level of tuition support. Where it's super competitive is the higher levels of tuition support. So, for example, the Three Cairns Fellowship has about a 20% or lower, 10 to 20% acceptance rate for the fellowship. So, if keep that in mind that most of our participants have some kind of partial discount.
Great, thank you. All right. I think that brings us to the end of our Q&A session. I did just want to remind you all again, this whole session has been recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel. I will share my screen now though and share a few reminders. I know you've seen this all already before, but I did just want to give you all an opportunity once again to scan the QR code we have here and register for our coffee chat this Friday. If you have any other questions or if you wanted just to meet people and chat for a little bit about other folk or with other folks who are considering the program, I encourage you to join us on Friday. So we have a bunch of other dates as well. And so visit our website and see all the other dates and you can register there as well. We also have, I wanted to share again the important dates. So again, the main one to be aware of right now is our March 25th, 2026 deadline. You have really about a month and a half or so to work on your application and get it submitted in time. If you have any questions about that deadline or if you have any concerns about meeting it, please send us an email and let us know. And lastly, I just wanted to share, it's been in the chat quite a bit already, but our website is environment.yale.edu/certificates/tropical/admissions. And there you can learn more about the application requirements and all of that. And again, our email is tropicalcertificate@yale.edu. Um, I'm sure I sound like a broken record, but really, we are more than happy to help during this admission cycle, whether it's myself, Emmy, Jillian, or anyone else on our program delivery team. We do look forward to seeing your application and are happy to support you as you work to get it submitted. Um, the last thing I guess to say is just thank you all for coming to today's information session. We do look forward to receiving your application soon, and hopefully seeing you at some upcoming learning sessions or coffee chats. But other than that, thank you all. Take care and goodbye.
Bye, and thank you.